Hey, welcome to the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute with your host, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest, Alan Bishop. Hey, this channel is all about home distilling and legal distilling. If you've got questions, reach out to us in the comments below, social media, or via bishopshomegrown@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out thealchemistcabinet.com. Hey guys, just a lazy Sunday here at the Bishop Homestead. Had a little time to record a little One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute content and had a great question that came in. But first and foremost, a little housekeeping. As always, please send me your distillation related questions at bishopshomegrown@gmail.com or on social media or in the YouTube comments below, and I'll be glad to help you out in any way that I can. I love running the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute. I love helping distillers who are trying to learn more about their craft and their art. And it's something I plan to continue doing. But you guys can support me as well by picking up a copy of the 2025 Practical Distiller's Almanac, which is up now at thealchemistcabinet.com. Of course, this is much like a farmer's almanac, but it's catered towards distillers and agriculturally centric topics, as well as folk sayings and folk magic. And we did a little tarot reading in there to sort of get an idea of what 2025 is going to bring to us. Something I'm really passionate about, and I'd really appreciate you buying. It's out to the publisher right now, so physical copies will be in as they get those done. But when you do purchase it this time, you get a digital download with it, which you have access to immediately, which means that you have access to all of that information within the almanac right this second as soon as you order the almanac. So with that said, let's get into the question here from Terry. Hey, Alan, thanks for reading this. I appreciate you, sir. I recently did an apple mash with mash/wash and went what I consider overkill on the apples. I did 78 pounds of apples with 5 gallons of apple juice and 1 gallon of water. No added sugar. The ultimate goal here is to defeat my nemesis, the apple. I've never been happy with the apple influence I got in the past. It was good liquor, but not even a hint of apple on the back or nose at all. I think this time I'm going to run pot stilled, no thumper, with apples in the pot. My question is this. I see people talk about letting the cap drop, but it seems to me that if the liquid in the fermenter is ready to run, that letting the cap drop only does one thing, and that is to make it easier to pull the liquid off the top of the fruit. In my experience, letting the fruit set in there until the cap drops causes the fruit to lose a lot of the aromatics that could contribute to some of the apple essences carrying through. Am I correct in my thinking or way off? Either way, I'm running it tomorrow, and I'll find out for myself, but figured I'd get your input. Thanks again. He then sends a follow-up email that says, I changed my mind at the last minute, put apples in the wash into the pot, infused the thumper with wash, and put cut fresh apples in my jar rig ahead of the condenser. So far, so good. Well, you are on the right path, sir. So, a couple things. So, the more those apples that you can actually put into that distillation, the better that flavor is going to turn out. That can either be in the pot, it can be in gin baskets, it can be in the thumper, it can be in Tennessee thumpers, any of those things. The more apples you get in there, the more that flavor you're going to get out, right? Now, the other side of this is that if you're putting enough apples in that the cap has a chance to drop, or you're putting so few apples in that the cap actually has a chance to drop, is what I should say. You're not really making true mash style apple brandy. There should be so many apples in there that there is no cap to drop. It should almost be solid from top to bottom with just liquid in the spaces in between, right? That's true Hoosier style apple brandy. Now, I know that's not feasible for a lot of people on a home distilling scale, so here's what I would say as well in terms of trying to capture apple. It may not be so much about the amount of apples that you're using, but the type of apples. And I know that we're oftentimes very limited on what we have access to. I've talked about this in the past several times with culinary apples. With culinary apples, when it comes to fermentation, honestly, there is only one variety that works extraordinarily well, and that is the Golden Delicious. Other apples that are for culinary purposes, they do not hold up in distillation. For example, things that you would think would hold up in distillation, like Honeycrisp, just a big ball of water is all that is. Very little aromatic principle, very little of anything that actually is going to come across in distillation. Your best bet is to find as many heirloom style apples as what you can, or get some heirloom concentrate, or get some dehydrated heirloom apples, or, go around and find your local populations of apple trees and gather from those and put as many different types in there as what you possibly can, and as many of them as you possibly can as far as volume goes. But other than that, it sounds like you're exactly on the right track. You're doing exactly what I like to do, which is I like to make sure that those apples actually end up in the distillation somehow, usually in the distillation vapor path, or in the boiler itself, or in the thumper, etc. The other thing that there's nothing wrong with doing is dehydrating a bunch of apples and wrapping those up in cheesecloth and then doing a post-distillation apple infusion. I've done that many times. It's something that Wayne Herbert does a lot of. It makes good quality product, and even from a legal brandy perspective, you can have up to 2.5% harmless flavoring or coloring in brandy. 2.5% by volume or weight, either way, is a pretty good amount of dried apples that can go into that finished brandy. Keep up the good work. Let me know how this new run is going for you, how it turned out. I would love to know. Always bear in mind, the more apple you use, the more flavor you're going to get. The more appropriate apples you use, the better flavor you're going to get. And the more of those apples you can actually get into the distillation process, the better flavor you're going to get. So, all right, guys, don't forget about that 2025 Practical Distiller's Almanac, and I'll catch you soon. Love y'all. Later.